Welcome, everybody. It looks like people are starting to roll in. I'm going to get us set up real quick on Facebook so we can go live over there.
Okay.
We've got a pretty interesting one today, everyone. Title that we went with was From Cold to Closed. It's a pretty broad topic, but we really wanted to dive into the process that Sascha is using with Jasper here. His lead ISA, VA, Jasper does a lot for him. But how does it work? You know, in your world, the system you have in place, lead comes in and from cold to closed. So what is Jasper doing on his side? And then also, what does the handoff look like? Because we hear a lot of times that's where the big struggle comes into place. You can have an amazing ISA, be a fantastic agent, but if that handoff isn't clean, you end up right back at cold and you lose it altogether.
Right. Awesome. So, hey guys, how you guys? Hope everybody's doing well. We're going to go ahead real quick before we jump in. Let's go ahead and drop my Popo link in there so everyone can get in contact with me. So Jasper, drop my Popo link real quick for everybody, and then go ahead and drop my Calendly link as well. Okay. Make sure, hey, Jasper, change that from panelists to everyone. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into, and we'll get started with that. So real quick, guys. So how does this work? And I'm not going to go deep into all the things we've talked about before, like our drip campaigns. All that stuff is happening in the back end. So literally what I do here with my guy, Jasper, I'm going to introduce him in a second, is Jasper just makes phone calls, right? It's not his entire job, but Jasper understands our zBuyer seller system, and he works within that system. So Jasper's job is to basically make phone calls and set appointments for me, all right? And he does an extremely well job. I'm gonna let him just talk to you guys and talk about how he does that. So I kind of move Jasper around a little bit. Like if I'm free, I can work my own leads sometimes. It doesn't happen a lot. And Jasper would just then call on our prospect leads. And let me tell you, this dude is spending straw into gold on prospect leads. He's killing it, right? But when I am just bogged down, Jasper just calls my leads for me. So Jasper, real quick, can you just walk these guys through the process for you when you are, when a lead first comes in, let's say it's a brand new fresh lead, what exactly are you doing so they understand?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing I do is look at what the information on his profile, how much he's asking for, how many beds and bats he has, and I just call him right away. Ask him how much he's looking for and asking for, what's his time frame in selling. Also, if he has any balance remaining on the property, and also if he's interested in hearing a cash offer for this year, or if he's interested in listing in listing on the market.
Yeah. So let's do something real quick, Josh. Let's role play. I want you to pull out your script and pretend I'm the zBuyer lead that comes in, and let's see what happens. Let's show them how you actually do this. Okay.
Yeah. Let's go.
Ring.
Hey,
Hello?
Sascha. Hey, Sascha.
Yes, this is Sascha. Who is this?
Hey, Sascha, this is James. I'm an assistant for Chatman Realty Group. I'm just calling real quick. Don't want to waste much of your time, but I'm just calling to see what you have in plan this year when it comes to selling your home or hearing a cash offer for your property.
Well, I just put that in. How'd you get my information?
That's a good question. So my realtor has subscribed to a subscription on the internet. It's zBuyers. That's where we get all our leads from, and that's how I got your number, and that's why I'm calling you today.
Okay, awesome. Let's pause right there. Why does he do that, guys? People say, "Oh no, don't do that, don't do that." Child, please, they know they signed up for something. Okay, and we have this conversation straight up all the time, but the fact that, yeah, you put your information out there. That's how we got your information. And then sometimes they'll pivot that conversation. They'll say, and I say the exact same thing. I want you guys to know that. I'll say that too. And they'll say, "Well, I didn't mean to do that." And I'll joke like, "So did the gremlin get your phone and they put your name, your number, and your email?" "Well, I didn't know that's what was going to happen." And I said, "Well, so just, and we'll pivot this conversation from that perspective." So I just wanted to pause real quick, but that's how Jasper starts the whole thing off. And then he goes on from there to basically try to set the appointment. But what information, Jasper, are you trying to gather for me to set me up? Tell these guys about that.
Yeah. So first thing is the seller's name, their email address, the most active one, their mobile number, and then the next few important things are the selling price. Uh, what's the motivation or what's the plan once the
Absolutely.
property sold, and if there's any other important people that we need to talk with when it comes to selling the property, that's also one. And also, as I've mentioned, I also ask if there's any remaining balance on the property,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it. Also, the time frame, that's important.
Yeah. So let's talk about this, because I always ask Jasper to get the balance. And the reason I ask for the balance, because I want to walk in with a net sheet, guys. I want to walk in with a net sheet saying, if I sell your house at this is what it's looking like. Now, but Jasper, you do a little bit more than that, because if they give you more conversation, he will then start gathering information and even try to get them to give us pictures so we can submit that to our Zoodelio. Okay. To get that more, so we can be more in tune when we actually sit down and go over the cash offer. Because sometimes if we can get them to take the photos, it makes our job a lot easier. Now, Jasper will then also let them know when I come in, I will be presenting a cash offer, but I'm also going to be ready to take photos so I can sure up those cash offers as well. Because a part of our scripting is that we don't make blind offers, guys. Is that, we just don't make a blind offer because we don't want to go back and forth. So those are some of the things that he's doing up front from the phone call. So Jasper, kind of walk them through, how do you pivot from a physical appointment to a phone call? Because I know I want the physical appointment, but sometimes they won't do that. So what's the pushback that you face at that point, and what do you do?
So I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
So I just want you to talk about the pushback when someone won't do a physical listing appointment with you.
Oh,
Instead, you pivot them to a phone call with me. How do you do that?
yeah. So I really don't want to force it on them if they are not comfortable with meeting up with my realtor or with Sasha. So I just give them I ask them what time would work best for their schedule. Example, let's say I set them up on Friday, and then I would ask, hey, what time would work for you on Friday? And then I'll let my realtor know, and he'll give you a call at that time.
Yeah. So that's the front end right there, guys. Now, here's the deal. I know that Jasper's going to sit there and make 200 plus phone calls a day. Can you say that about yourself as a realtor? If you're a team leader, can you say every last one of your agents are going to sit there and actually make that phone call every single day? No. And I'll be honest, where I am right now in my business, between the coaching program and having a team, sometimes it's very difficult for me to be transactional. And so Jasper sets me up. I think at the last webinar, Jasper has set me up with, what was it, 8?
Eight,
Yeah.
and you had
He set me up with 8. We
5 or
knocked out
6.
5 out of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. This week alone, Jasper set me up with 4. We have signed 2 of them. One is a reschedule, and then we got one more. Is that tomorrow, Jasper?
To follow up on. We're done for the week.
We're done? Okay, we're done for the week. Okay. Oh, that's right. She rescheduled. Right.
So
Go ahead.
question for you, Sasha, because Jasper's got a script. How often are you guys sitting down, evaluating that, making adjustments if needed? How often are you doing that?
Probably like every 2 or 3 weeks, because he uses dial pad, and then sometimes he'll do that in conjunction with Mojo, right?
Okay.
That allows us to record his calls and see where he's at. And Jasper, you've been with me now late November.
Almost. Yeah.
Late November. So I want to explain something, guys. Jasper already had real estate calling experience anyway. Okay, so that's number one. I went and got someone who had experience. Number 2, you got to put some time and energy into this guy. Jasper is not the same virtual assistant that is working with me now as he first started. Jasper is doing a bevy of things versus just making phone calls all day. Jasper actually works as my transaction coordinator as well. He is a monster on dot loop. He helps me with creating my comps and stuff like that. So I want to just show you guys a little bit what else he's doing for me, so you can see what the handoff looks like. So let me share my screen real quick here.
Well, you're pulling that up. Jasper, do you have an idea how long it takes you to get to a lead? So new lead comes in. How long is it before that phone call is made?
Do you mean once I get a lead, how long does it
Yeah.
take for me to call him?
Yeah.
I mean, I call him right away. Once I get
Okay.
a lead in, I call him right away.
So just before we jump to this, Sasha, so far from the process of, cold to closed,
Yep.
lead comes in, Jasper's on it immediately. He's got a script. He's got a solid plan in place. He knows what the end goal is. And we're ending up with either a face-to-face listing appointment or we're doing it over the phone, but still trying to get to some level of commitment to put you in conversation.
Exactly. I mean, that by far, we have a decision tree that he follows, right? Based off the conversation and the lead's behavior and the things that they're saying. By far, we're trying to get the listing appointment. Okay, that's number one. All right. If we're not getting that, we're trying to get them to act now. If not now, sooner. That means we're going to a phone call. Okay. If they're not getting that, then Jasper is also going to help me out with comps so we can start sharing comps with them from Cloud CMA. So there's a number of things that he helps us within our zBuyer seller system to convert that lead over. But by far, appointments is number one, right? And if you can't get that, phone call, right?
Right.
It's his job to set him up. It's my job to knock him down. And that's how we work this. So we have a standing meeting every week and we look at where our pipeline looks at, where he's at, where I'm falling behind. Jasper will then tell me which of the leads that I need to do a personal follow-up, like a bomb to get them there. Like today, he set me up. I literally did one today at 10. And that guy's signing with us, but what are the next steps from follow-up? Jasper's going to input that listing into the MLS as an input listing. Eventually turn into coming soon. But the job doesn't stop with just setting an appointment. He's doing all the other things that, frankly, I don't want to do. I just want to do listing appointments and coach my team.
Right.
Okay?
Now, two pieces there, the things you don't have time to do, the things you don't want to do, putting together the numbers, getting Zoodealio ready, getting everything ready. So I think that's kind of where you were going, him setting the appointment and what you've got with the appointment.
Yep. So what we've done is you guys know by now, we have a lot of automation. So let me show you what happens with Jasper, what he does for me. Okay. In the end, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I may look like I'm a model of consistency. I'm a mess, man. Sometimes today was a bad day. I had a lot going on. So we had this particular listing appointment here, right? I took the address off and whatnot, but here's what Jasper did. This is the handoff. Okay. I had no idea who I was going to go talk to. None. I have never talked to the lead. Jasper talked to the lead. He secured the physical appointment. He also made sure the night before that they're going to keep that appointment because it's a 10 o'clock meeting and it's an hour drive for me to get there. Right. So I know they owe $70,000. This is all Jasper's notes, why they're relocating, what's going on. So Jasper has his already put into right here with this link, going into Zoodealio, the Cloud CMA is put together, and then he does this thing right here, man. He puts the listing on my Google Drive, and it comes up, I got it up somewhere, right here. So in here is my CMA. He's helped prepare for us. I don't have to go into that, but it's a CMA. Here is the cash offer coming in from Zoodealio right here. Here are the realist tax property details. He's downloaded and put in my folder right here for me. So now I understand what's going on, what realist tax is talking about, yada, yada. Everyone knows how to use realist. And then here's the quick CMA, right? So I have everything I need to do the listing appointment. I already have my folders put together for the listing appointment already with my listing presentation, if I even use it, which I did not. And I am walking in off the top with my Zoodealio offer and everything else. Right there. Now, if it wasn't Zoodealio, it might have been with our network of investors. But at the end of the day, I knew I was going in to talk to somebody based off his notes who owes $70,000. This is what they're looking for. The comps actually make sense for what they're asking for this time, right? And I'm ready to go, right? I can literally, and I've done this many times, where I don't really know what I'm going into because I haven't done my own homework like I typically would do by myself as an individual agent. He's doing a lot of this stuff for me. Now, is he doing comps by himself? No. He's putting them into Cloud CMA. When I know I got a physical appointment, I will go into Cloud CMA, check those comps, rerun them, reorganize them, and see what makes more sense. But because he's done this for me, I'm good to go. So a good example would be like I believe this was one here. We redid it this morning, he and I, based off his comps, I redid it and I'm ready to go. So he's literally setting me up and my job is to sit there and knock it down. I knock on the door. If I'm running late, Jasper texts the lead, say, hey, Sascha's running behind. DFW traffic guys. Oh, they're like, you haven't been late for a listing appointment. Right? And we were good to go. And that was it. He knocks it up. He set it up. I knock it down. I knocked this one here down today.
So really, as long as you can make it to the property address and give yourself a 2-3 minute buffer to click on these links, open them up before you walk inside, you've got it. You know everything you need to know. You know the numbers. You're ready to show it. And I think this right here is one of the biggest pieces that helps you so much go from cold to close, especially with these zBuyer leads. Having, an awesome person behind you that's able to come through, put the numbers together and have you show up and just be ready to do what you do.
Exactly. I try not to be unprepared. Let me just say that. But there's times when, I just have not been able to dig into it. My schedule can be a beast sometimes. So, this was one of those times in which, I talked to Jasper for 5 minutes. And let me be very clear. Jasper and I are constantly going back and communicating with Slack. This is Slack right here. Here, he's setting me this appointment here. This is how we're handing things off a lot. Is he in the CRM? Yes. Is he putting his notes in the CRM? Absolutely. Is he texting leads from that? 100%. But a lot of times he's sending me, hey guy, contact this guy right here, Sascha. And this is how he is setting me up to make sure that I know that you got an appointment coming up. This is him managing my agents. But at the same time, you need to go here, you need to go take care of this particular one. And I just know it's out there. And what he'll do is literally just go to my calendar and book them. So we had one Monday. We had another one. Was it yesterday evening? Yeah, yesterday evening. These days are running together, man. Okay. And someone rescheduled on us this week. I can't think of who it was.
Very cool. Very cool. So, this is what happens whenever Jasper's here, when he's working, when he's on duty. What about whenever he's coming in off duty? But what does the process look like? Are you picking it up if it comes through after hours when Jasper's done for the day? Is he getting to him first thing AM the next day?
Well, you guys have to keep in mind that when the leads come in, I also have a team. So Jasper set up to round robin from that perspective as well. So am I. But the question is on my team, who's on first? I mean, who's up, right? And so let's say if the team, for example, doesn't hit the lead, Jasper's going to grab those leads out of our hot pond so he can start working on it. But when he first gets in, if we have one coming in like super late, 10 to 12 or whatever, he's going to be hitting that one up.
Very cool.
So his shift, are you 8 to 5 right now?
Yeah, 8 to 5.
Yeah, 8 to 5. Sometimes I may have him come in a little bit later and go 10 to 7. It just depends on what season we're working in. And if his schedule works out like that.
Yeah, we had a good comment over on Facebook. They said, I think the key word is cash offer. It's what allows the conversation to continue. This is from earlier when we were talking about the scripting. Jasper, how often, are you overcoming resistance or reluctance to the homeowner wanting to work with Sascha or another one of the agents until you mention, hey, we work with investors, we have different options and ways we can bring you a cash offer?
Not much really. Most of the people or sellers I talk to these days are mostly interested in hearing a cash offer and compared to being listed on the market.
Very interesting. And
we've seen an uptick in that, I would say, at least in the last 2 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have a robust system. So if the homeowner wants a cash offer, you can make it work, from Zedelio to local investors. If it's a property you're interested in yourself, you've got a robust system there to where you can offer it. But Jasper, are you doing anything on the call to not necessarily discourage the cash offer, but also set up, hey, talking with Sascha, looking at a listing, it might be the best option for you. It might protect your equity. Are you guys doing anything or just letting the homeowner make the decision on what's best?
Yeah, I also pitch in that option that they could
Uh,
list. I also pitch in that, hey, you may be you may receive a higher offer than compared to just receiving a cash offer. We'll have to see once my realtor comes and visit your property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
So his thing is, because we don't want him practicing as a realtor, it's really just to kind of set me up
Yeah.
as to be that, expert on the market and what's going on. And they know that we're coming in to present a cash offer, yet we can talk to them about listing. And there's just several times Josh would say, Sasha, they're not interested. We had the one on Monday. I can list this house. Nothing wrong with the house. But this lady she refuses to list it. So we're going to go cash offer route. That's what she wants to do. I even showed her the numbers when I got there, and she's like, don't want to do it. I was like, okay, let's go cash offer, right? So it just depends. I mean, right now let me just say this for everyone who's listening. There are a lot of people out there who absolutely just want cash offers. They do not want the hassle of listing. So meet them at their call to action, guys. They just don't. I mean, it's amazing to me. We have 4 right now, Jasper, that we have signed recently, and they're all off market listings. They don't want to go to the market. And I'm telling you, get more money. It's easy for me to sell it for you on market, and they just don't want to do it, guys. So I think that most agents need to expand their thinking on what you can do from that perspective. I'm going to give you guys a great example. I had a conversation with one. We had a lead came in December. I think it was December, and Jasper just let me know he just talked to this guy. He wanted a cash offer, but the number he wanted from a cash offer was way higher than what he was going to get. And he liked me. I followed up, and then I stopped following up. Lord have mercy. Why am I saying that this house is on the MLS, sold in 14 days for the exact same number I told him that I could list this house for? Somebody took this listing, was it $50,000, $60,000 over what I thought it would go? I wouldn't do it, and lo and behold, he sold it for the exact same number. But I failed to follow. Jasper set me up, and I stopped following up because, this is not going to work, right? $775,000 house. I am sick right now, right?
That's a hard one to lose.
It's a hard one to lose, but this also shows you that, my guy set me up, and I didn't follow through. And he was following back up on this lead because he's like, Sasha, hey, you remember this guy here? I was like, okay, yeah. Dude, he listed with somebody else. Like, don't tell me that. And then we looked it up right before this call here, guys. And I saw the number. I was like, well, let's use this as an example. That's my fault. That's my failure.
Yeah. With that said, though, you've got to be able to, identify your own weaknesses or pitfalls in your system. Sometimes it's a hard weakness, to learn through, or a hard pitfall to go through. But it shows you, where do you need to put time? Where do you need to put, safety nets to make sure things don't fall through like that?
And that's one of the things, Jordan, that we're doing, that he and I, we have fixed the issue, but this is when it slipped through the net on us, that we're constantly back and forth. When I go through a listing appointment, I tell Jasper, this is what's going on. These are the ones that are hot right now. This is what's happening, and he's tracking it, or, hey, this is going to take a little bit more time to turn. Yeah. And so we've kind of really dialed in our system together. It took us, I would say, about a month and a half, would you say, Jasper, to find our groove? But I feel like we're really into it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Got a couple questions. First one, what percent would you say of zBuyer leads want to sell versus want a cash offer?
I think that's seasonal, to be honest with you guys. I think most people will list their house with you if you could show them that it's not going to be as much of a hassle. Okay.
Right.
By far, it goes back to the motivation. So let's call it 50-50 if I had to put a number on it. Okay. Because I'm in a season right now where I have a lot of people who want to list it, but not on the market. It's kind of a weird season. And then I'll go the first quarter, I had a lot of people wanting the cash offer. Okay. But now that we're in the listing season, now we're seeing more people more apt and willing to go to market. But here's a but. It depends what's going on with them. So let's talk about some of these leads. Some of these leads can be distressed. Some leads can have issues going on. They inherited, it's their mother's house or something like that. and there's an emotional attachment to the home that makes it difficult to go through a listing. So we as agents need to listen to that, understand that, and then be able to act upon that. So my question for every agent out there who's listening to this is, what do you have in your playbook? Are you just a person who can just list a house only? Can you connect with investors? A. B, can you list a house not on the MLS and still sell it? If you don't have C in there, you need to get that in your playbook right away, because I will not lose an opportunity of listing a house because it's not going on the MLS. Sometimes I end up being on both sides of that particular deal. I tell them, you will do better on the MLS. I guarantee that, but if they just don't want to do it, am I going to lose that deal or not? And I had to really open up my mind and my abilities for myself and my team to list homes off the market, because we were just missing out on those deals. Not going to miss those deals anymore.
Yeah. You know, the thing that makes our marketing and what we do so valuable is homeowners want options. So whenever we're reaching out to homeowners saying there's options, there's multiple ways to sell your home, see market value, see a cash offer, that's why they respond to it, because it piques their curiosity. They feel empowered and like they have a say and, you know, a stronger decision to make about what is the best option for them.
Absolutely. So I would just say, listen intently and then be ready with the different options that you have, but just be confident that you can get those things knocked out.
Absolutely.
And Jasper and I have just learned this together, the repetition, right? So when you tell someone doesn't want to list it, I address that elephant in the room. Like, my understanding is that you don't want to list. And he's like, I absolutely don't want to list. Okay. And I literally do this. Well, I'm going to take this option off the table. I think it's your best one. Now let's talk about this one right here. And that's what we do.
Right. Another question here. Fortune is in the follow-up. I don't follow up consistently and really need to. And then what's your follow-up system? This is from over on Facebook. Gwen, I would say look through our mastermind group, or, you know, go over to YouTube. We've done a couple videos with Sascha now, where each time we've broken down different parts of the follow-up system and what Sascha's doing. There's a lot of gold in there. There's a lot of really good information. The other thing that we'll make sure to put Sascha's links on Facebook afterwards. So if you want to have a one-on-one with Sascha and really hear what he's doing and get a deep dive into how that can be done for you as well, you can do that. Question here on Zoom with us. How do you list a house without putting it on the MLS?
Oh, that's not hard. I mean, put it on your website, right? I'm not sure what your CRM or your website is. Create a landing page for that particular home, and then just target. I literally will target agents that I know who sell in the market. I would target buyers directly, and then I will also target. Here's right. I also target investors. So I mean, I'm not sure how it works in your state. Let me just say that in Texas, we actually have to put, if we are allowed to put the house in our listing agreements on the MLS or not, and what that seller's request is. So if they requested not to be on the MLS, then we can do that. It's tedious. I'll tell you that right now. It's not as easy, but you know, I have a good network of agents. I know who's out there selling. I know who's the investors in my market. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, the other thing I know you have a good network of, Sascha, is buyer leads from our prospecting, because I know you and your team are scrubbing them for every market that you're in with us. And on a good month, we're sending you 100 to 200 aged buyer leads.
Right, right.
So every month that network of buyers is just growing.
Yeah. I mean, I just address that. I don't like doing it off market, guys. It's tedious, you know.
Yeah.
But if that's what's required for me to get it done, then okay, fine, we'll do that. We just have to fine tune that process, and once you've done it once, fix it, figure out where it's bumpy at, do it again, and then again, and then you've got a pretty good process. So that's process improvement for you.
Yeah. And another question we got was, how often are you getting, I'm not interested in selling, as a response?
We get that pretty decently often. I mean, especially right now. Understand that this is April. Some people are coming in here because they're trying to fight their taxes. Yeah. You know, you'll laugh at this. One of my past clients, I sold her a house 2 years ago, came in as a zBuyer lead. I'm like, that can't be the same person. Then I looked at the address, like, oh, that is her, right? Yeah. So I called her and said, what are you doing? I said, you came into my process as a lead. She says, I'm trying to fight my taxes, Sascha. I'm like, okay. So understand that you're going to have people who's trying to get and fight their taxes because it's tax season right now. So be helpful. I send them comps on listing the house, and I try to send them those lowball comps I can find out there. From that perspective, I ask them for an online review and a referral.
Absolutely.
And if you're successful in helping them fight their taxes, oh, they're gonna tell a great story about you. They're gonna love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I am getting with roughly about 150 leads in a month, give or
Yeah.
take. I can just say it about the DFW ones because the ones that I'm working, I'm not really interested once or twice a week, right? But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean I'm not going to follow up with them. I take them off my cash offer drip campaign and put them on a long-term seller campaign. They'll get my market updates. We'll get them inside of the Chatman Realty Group ecosystem, YouTube, Facebook, everything. And that's a transaction down the road. And just stay in touch with them, call them every other month.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people really hate to hear that I'm not interested or I'm not selling right now. Now's not the time.
Mhm.
I think realistically, if you change your viewpoint just a little bit, that's really the best thing you can hear. Because it's better than no response. It's better than silence. It's better
Absolutely.
than not answering the phone. And it just lets you know, what is the next step I need to take with this lead? What do I need to do now so I can convert them?
Yeah.
Because they're not interested. They're not selling. In reality, they are. It's just not right now. So you just need to be prepared for when it happens.
They're asking for a reason. You're absolutely right, Jordan. They're asking for a reason. And we got to keep that in mind. They might be at the very beginning of their process, but they're going to list that house. You know, we
Right.
go back and we'll comb through zBuyer leads that we got a year ago. And this is one reason I like the prospect leads, is because they put their request out 3 or 4 months ago. And guess what? Sometimes they're closer
Right.
to actually wanting to do something. In fact, the 4 people that Jasper got scheduled for me this week alone, they're all prospect leads. Am I correct when I say that, Jasper?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all prospect leads. All right. So this dude is literally taking the prospect leads and spinning strong to go for me here. This week, I'm working my more real-time leads, you know, and I got him on prospect this week. And so I can flip-flop him depending what's going on with me. And like if I take vacation, I'm not working it. He's going to work my regular everyday zBuyer leads that come in.
Very cool. Very cool. So kind of to recap here, cold to closed, cold leads coming in. Jasper's on it right away. If it's not
Right
yourself or a different team member, Jasper's on it. So someone's getting to it immediately. And then we've talked about this before, but if you're not making contact that first call, you've got a pretty aggressive follow-up plan to make sure you're going to get them on the phone. It's just a matter of when. But then from there, Jasper's gathering a lot of information. He's not just setting the appointment, figuring out how much they owe on the property, what are they looking for, quite a bit of information, but then he's not stopping there, putting together cloud CMA comps, putting together the Zoodealio offers for you, getting the appointment set, making sure you've got it on your calendar, making sure homeowners still ready. Because we talked about that before. He's also following up before the actual listing appointment to confirm again, make sure the time still works.
Yep.
And then you walk in looking like you've put in 2-3 hours. In reality, it might be 2-3 minutes.
Yeah. And then, you know, we do have, I didn't mention this, but we do have certain templated bombs that we have. Instead of like a pre-listing packet, we send our pre-listing packets electronic, right?
Okay.
To send to them. That talks about us. So Jasper also has he shares with them different things that to add value. Text reviews, my online books that we have. There's a 1-pager that we have in Canva that shows the different houses that we sold. We have our online booklet that we share as well of past transactions. So pretty much when I walk in the door, they know what we've done. They know who we are. They know, and it's never okie doke. Let me be very clear. They know that this is not just someone who's talking about buying it with cash. They know that we can actually list it as well. Now, some people stop like, I don't want to list it. Fine, great. Then let's talk about these options right here. And we go down the path based off what they're looking at. And then let me just say this. He's doing all that, but one thing that he does for me, which is, I hate to admit I'm this way sometimes, but when I have a listing appointment, I will find myself doing this on my own, trying to get my listing agreement and everything put together by myself. This guy will put the loop in dot loop for me. and we have our templates already built in Dotloop. So everything is ready to go. All I need is their name, email, and stuff like that. And now I have my listing agreement. I got their seller's disclosure ready to take to them. All the docs that we need here in Texas in order to get them to sign the list at home. And for those who are EXP agents, every last EXP document I have to get paid, he knocks that stuff out. Wire fraud, IABS, you name it. So not only is he setting appointments, he's saving me time and energy on the back end of the transaction before we even started. So I'm walking in and I'm, it's like he's the producer, I'm the talent, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. A question for you then, kind of to wrap this up, a lot of today has been focused around, a VA and what Jasper does for you, the team, how he really is the glue that's holding everything together. At what point in your business did you start saying, hey, I think it's time for me to find someone? I need someone I can trust with multiple different things. What point in your business was it whenever you came to that conclusion?
So let me go back. I first started down this path of getting a virtual assistant when I was hitting consistently 40 transactions myself, right? Okay. I was at one point I was hitting like 5-6 deals a month, and I could handle that, but it wasn't pleasant, right? I was missing stuff with the family. I didn't like that. So, I then got a transaction coordinator. Well, they helped out a little bit. And then if you actually want to build up your business, you want to take it to the next level, you got to figure out what you're going to do. So I started down the path of doing virtual assistants about 3 years ago now at this point. And I didn't really understand what I was doing. I'll be the first one to tell you guys that. If I had known what I know now, I would have got me a virtual assistant when I was doing 20 deals a year. Yeah. Because the way that Jasper and I work right now, this is the model that I'm putting together for my team. I have some of my own agents on my team that I'm getting them virtual assistants to set them up and knock them down, because I know that they're going to do this particular task and Jasper's going to make those phone calls. So let me ask you guys this: would you be willing to invest $600 or $700 into your business every single month if you knew and you understood that investment is going to bring you 2, 3, 4 more transactions? Who's going to say no to that? I'm not saying no to that. Now that Jasper's doing this, we're now recruiting virtual assistants for our teams down in Houston. We're doing it for our team in Austin, our teams here in Dallas, and we're helping others get their virtual assistant as well. So yeah, you just have to have them trained. You got to train these guys properly, and they need ongoing support, right? And that's something that we've learned how to do very, very well. So if you're out there and you're thinking about getting a virtual assistant, reach out to me. We actually provide that service. We can get virtual assistants for you. We can train them. We'll put together your zBuyer seller system like we have here, make it completely automated, teach you and them how to use the system, and then we're out your way. And then you'll just pay your VA directly from that perspective. So we've done this pretty darn good.
Very cool. I'll say, especially, us, we've gone through VAs, we have VAs on staff. It's not the problem of finding, a VA. They're out there. You can find plenty of them, but finding someone who's quality, someone who's going to respect your time and your business as if it were theirs, and is really going to be dedicated to you. And it's hard whenever there's so many VAs out there. So you guys, if I'm right, if someone comes to you wanting a VA, you're actually going out and finding it for them.
Yes.
That right there is weeks time. If you've never done it before, if you don't know where to start, that's weeks.
It is. And then training them, making sure that they understand how to do this. So we actually have a couple clients we're helping this right now that we train them how to specifically work for the zBuyer lead source. Now, let me be very, very clear about this. If I can train a VA to do zBuyer leads, FSBOs is easy. Expires is easy. Jasper doesn't just work zBuyers. I want to be very clear about that, guys. This is the #1 lead source. He works for me, right? But I put Jasper on expires. He works FSBOs for me as well, because our system works for everything. Do we not believe an expired listing wants a cash offer? Yeah. Absolutely. They were on the market for 120 days. They're angry. They're PO'd. Would they take a cash offer? They might take it. Okay. So will a FSBO potentially take a cash offer? they might take it as well. So you have to look at it from that perspective. I call it my zBuyer seller system, but it's just my seller system, period. Period. I got a guy who's going through foreclosure. We put him through the exact same system, right? And it works. So, but yes, we do that. It's a must. But we have 3 options for people. We have a zBuyer course, we have our seller system, and then we actually have what we call the Listing Coordinator Plus, in which we'll go get that VA for you, train them, build out your system for you, and then train you and your VA how to do this in the future, and call it a day.
Very cool. Sascha, we're about 45 minutes in. We've talked about a lot today.
We did. We covered a lot.
Yeah. This was
Someone
a good
asked about in FSBOs too. How do you get expireds? I Red-X. I get them through Red-X. Sometimes I get them from Mojo.
both good services, good way to find FSBOs, expireds. Everyone, I'm going to make sure we get some of Sascha's links over to Facebook. We'll make sure whenever we get this uploaded to YouTube, they're there as well. But do us a favor. Everyone seems to like Sascha coming on here. We get a lot of good feedback, but give us some ideas and topics for the next call with Sascha. What do you guys really want to hear? What can we take the time to dive into that's going to be the most beneficial for you? Let us know in the comments, send us some messages, give us some feedback there. Sascha, anything else on your side before we wrap up?
Can I share this one screen real quick about just,
Yeah.
I get these questions after these webinars, how much it costs for this, how much it costs for that. Let me just share this real quick. I will get this question 15 times today. I know I will. So if you're a DIY person and you want to go ahead and just buy a zBuyer course, it's very detailed. It walks over how you do zBuyer. Everything that we do for people in the zBuyer sales system, you'll learn how to do it in the course. However, if you don't want to do it yourself, we'll build it out for you guys for $1,500. I show you what I've done in the back end, and we build out your zBuyer or your seller system tailored to exactly what you want to do. I'll show you guys the different applications that I use, how we put it together, and we literally will put together your system for you. So it's tailored to how you want to work. Now, if you want to get a virtual assistant, you get the course with this one here as well. But if you want to go down the path of getting a VA, we'll do that for you too. You get the zBuyer system, you get the course. On top of that, we get your virtual assistant, we train them. Plus, they get access to the course, and then you get another course that we have about teaching you how to properly manage a virtual assistant. This is the biggest thing. So you understand how you manage a VA, and then we provide ongoing support for them thereafter. After that, we're out the way, and you pay your VA directly. And these are the 3 options that we have from a zBuyer standpoint, you guys. So if anyone has questions, feel free to reach on out to me about that.
Awesome. Everyone, thank you for sitting in with us for another super fun episode with Sascha. I've got links in Facebook, so anyone trying to get a hold of him, jump into those links. You'll be able to reach out to him. Anyone watching and you're not using zBuyer already, jump over to our website. We've always got people on there that are available to chat, or if you go make a profile, someone will be reaching out to you shortly from our team. But take a look around. We're no contract, completely month to month. We'll show you the pricing and then the breakdown for your area. How many leads are coming in, buyer, seller, average home price. We'll show you the area statistics. So lots of good information just to really help you decide if zBuyer is going to be a good fit for you, if you've got the system and tools in place to convert these leads. Because if not, that's what we're going to do is recommend you to come over here, jump into these videos, and listen to people like Sascha, other team members, that are really showing off how they convert and what they do so well. So everyone, thank you. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.
All right. See you guys.